my manifestation. First is the ruling of the Honorable Chair to suspend indefinitely the proceedings insofar as CHR is concerned, or the participation of CHR and its witnesses in this inquiry into the spate of extrajudicial killings. And then the second point would be...
Excuse me. Let us be very careful, please, with the way we phrase our statements. I can appreciate the fact that sometimes, and I make the same mistake too, I did not suspend the inquiry on extrajudicial killings. It will proceed. But because of the arrogance of a certain individual who represented the Commission on Human Rights, casting aspersions on the Senate investigation, it is fair for the Senate to protect itself, and yesterday in full session, I did not bring it up, another senator bring it up, and I had to react to it. Let us be very clear. Normally, I will not give any, but I will explain later anyway. So go ahead, but please correct the
Thank you.
Because the first error of this CHR, because I'm referring to this, is that they claim I totally canceled all the hearings, which is thoroughly unfair. There was never any cancellation. We suspended it because of certain incidents that I have already chosen to ignore, and by your own representation, Your Honor. By the representation of two senators, out of respect to them, I did not pursue the matter anymore.
I stand corrected, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Specifically on the matter of suspending indefinitely the presentation of CHR witnesses in the ongoing inquiry into the spate of killings. And the second point for my manifestation is with respect to the other ruling or statement of the good chair that we will proceed with consideration of the death penalty bills. So on the first point, Mr. Chair, I perfectly understand the sentiments and the displeasure of the good chair, and concurred in and shared by the Senate as an institution during yesterday's plenary session when the matter was raised in the privileged speech of Senator Migs Zubiri. I do understand and I share the sentiment that a non-member of the Senate, an official of an institution like the Commission on Human Rights, would make harsh statements, strong statements, particularly words like cowards or cowardice, etc. And I understand the sentiment and the demand for an apology from the commissioner concerned. Now, I see that the good chair is also expecting or is demanding an apology from the CHR itself as an institution.
Excuse me, I did not bring the matter up, Your Honor. I was content that I got a call from the chairman of the Human Rights Commission himself. He requested at about midnight, thereabouts, when he was in Amsterdam, that he learned about the displeasure of the committee on the statements of, with all due respect, our rogue commissioner. We all run, and you were chairman of the Commission on Human Rights, and you never allowed an individual to speak for you. Because when an individual like this gentleman, so-called, speaks roughly about the Senate, which is an institution that is supposed to be respected by the country, he has no right to speak for the Commission. And that's why I chose not to honor his statements. But now, since it's out of the bag, and you will permit me, do you still have the manifestation? Because I will have to make a manifestation, because I didn't want to bring it out. I will bring it out in the open.
Yes.
I'm always very transparent.
Yes, Mr. Chair,
There's no ifs and buts when I speak. I always go out and ask their questions directly.
If I may
Please go ahead.
be allowed to
But
proceed,
please be
to
sure, because
continue
we have a long day.
with my
We have a long day.
manifestation.
All right.
As I was saying, because I was also conversing with the chairman of the CHR, Chito Gascon, about the matter, and he was explaining to me that it would be difficult for them as an institution to issue an apology in relation to the statements of a member or a commissioner, and they are worried about its implications also on the CHR as an institution.
Again, let's be careful with the words. The expectation of the chair and the committee and the Senate is that the chairman of the Commission on Human Rights talk to this individual, and if he does not agree, the proper and correct thing to do would be to say, we dissociate ourselves completely with the statement of this individual, unless the Commission on Human Rights is now saying they agree with the statement made by this individual. That's a matter that's different from what the gentle lady is saying. I did not demand any apology. Apologies are made by gentlemen on their own. You cannot demand an apology. You cannot demand respect. Respect is earned. When somebody comes out, maybe because he wants to have his 2 minutes of fame, siguro gusto niya lang sumikat, kaya hindi ko pinatulan po eh. Hindi ko po siya pinatulan, kaya lang nilabas na nga dahil tinatamaan na yung Senado na napakapangit ng sinabi. Ang nakalagay doon sa headline CHR slams Gordon for suspension of Senate inquiry. In the first place, I cannot suspend anything without a motion. And there were senators at that time who were asking for a suspension already, to terminate, in fact. And I said, no, it was just an oversight on the part of Senator Delima. She is trying to explain about the failure to show that there was actually evidence being presented that was not known to us, and that was the NBI document that showed different witnesses, different principles than what was alleged by Mr. Matubato in 3 contrarian counter affidavits. The affidavit of Matubato, first of all, saying that he did not take part in the killing of this Macdum, and then the second affidavit again saying that he saw the killing, nilalas na sa leg, that he did not participate, and that he saw certain policemen that he knew was there. And then finally, on the third one, he now says in open hearing, kami ang pumatay, kasama ako ang nagbikti, ako ang sumaksak, kasama ko yung kanyang kasama. Hindi naman ho namin nalalaman na yung palang NBI, may report, at nung lumabas siya, sabi ko, pahintayin natin, if I don't deal in sana or kung sana, pero kung talagang tutuusin, dapat ang sinabi ninyo ay ilabas natin yung dokumento. At that time, pinapalabas ko na yung dokumento. As it was, lumabas yung dokumento ng NBI, which is an official investigation report, filing a case against Mr. Matabato. Ang nakalagay na police ay completely different from the policeman that he was accusing in open court, in open hearing. Di talaga nagsisinungaling na yung tao. Pero hindi nabali. I'm not here to judge anybody so far. Pero nung lumabas na nga ho yung dokumento na yan, hindi ba dapat nalaman ng committee yun? Kaya nagalit na ho yung ibang kasama natin, hindi ko nababanggitin, inaawat ko nga lahat tayo. Sana kung pwede lang, kayo nag-motion as you did today, mag-motion kayo for suspension. Hindi, nung dumating na si Senator Trillanes, nagtaas na rin kayo ng boses, hindi naman ho pwede yung chairman, itatameme na lang. Hindi naman ho po pwede na magkakagulo yung Senado. At ako'y umatras pa nga, sige ho, sabi ko, continue. That was really uncalled for, and that is why I was going to deliver a privilege speech and ask for an ethics investigation, which I did not. And in fairness to you, without even you coming to me. It was Senator Trillanes who came into my office uninvited, and he apologized. And I did not even announce that to the media. The media is here. They asked me anong pinag-usapan. I did not even use the word apology. But since lumalabo na namang usapin. Ayoko nga palabuin ito dahil dapat matapos na tayo dito. Gusto kong matapos na ito eh. Dapat tapos tayo ngayong araw na ito eh. Tila tuwing magtatapos tayo, may lumalabas na bagong issue. Kahapon no, hindi ko inanunsyo na nagpunta kayo sa opisina ko, and I was appreciative. We were very kind and gentle to one another. I even said, kausapin mo yung human rights because hindi naman tama yung ginawa. Wala ako sa man na loob kay Chairman Gaston at siya'y tumawag sa akin. Pero dapat, it is authorized na lumayo sila sa statement na yon in black and white because this is the Senate. And when you say words like, there's every reason to believe it is Gordon who is afraid of hearing, I challenge him as a commissioner. The only way for him to recover his credibility as chairman is to continue with the hearing, which I did not say I was not going to continue, and listen to the other witnesses. Otherwise, there's every reason to believe he is the coward. Natawa lang ho naman ako eh. I don't, you can call me a coward, you can call me anything because I know who I am. And not Matubato or Delima, Kadi said. Ngayon, nabanggit ko na yung sinabi niya. No? And then he says, so what are they talking about? That Matubato was running away, afraid to confront the other witnesses. Hindi naman ho ako nagpaalis kay Matubato eh. Tumakas ho in the middle of the night. After 13 hours of hearing, tumakas. Pinatawad na nga ho natin yan. Sinantabi na nga natin yan para matapos na ito eh. Ngayon, lumabas naman ito ngayon. Kaya lang naman ako, medyo may imutok ng konti. Tumawag sa akin si chairman at sabi niya, aayusin niya at sasabihin niya, they will dissociate it. Pero ano ang lumabas? Ang lumabas, hindi ko na sinabi ito kahapon sa kwadel. Maliit na bagay, papalakin, pero alam ko na kung anong klase ang mga tao. Sa akin, pag nagsalita kayo ng sasalita at hindi nyo sinunod, alam ko na kung sino kayo. Hindi alam ko, pag nagsalita, talagang susundin ko yung sinabi ko. Ano ang sinabi? The Commission hopes that the Senate will come up with fair and credible results. Aba, the title of this commission, this committee that I did not even want to take over, is Committee on Justice and Human Rights. I don't need a commission to tell me about our human rights. I belong to a very good organization, and I've been there for 48 years, and we try to uplift humankind and alleviate human suffering and human dignity. Now, at the same time, under Senator Richard Gordon's chairmanship of the Senate, this is a statement that came out from the Human Rights Commission on Justice and Human Rights. The Commission continues to pray that the committee will succeed in ferreting out the truth. Pinagdadasal naman po tayo eh. Talaga naman yun ang pupuntahan natin eh. Wala naman akong pinapalampas dito eh. So, siyempre, when Senator Zubiri came out with that, I had to answer already. And we are not taking out human rights out of the equation. I just said, under the circumstances, kung pinagdududahan nyo ang committee ng Senado, huwag na kayo pumunta rito because the Commission on Human Rights under the Constitution is allowed to investigate and recommend the filing of cases. Ipapadala nyo yung kaso rito ng mga testigo ninyo na pailan na ni General Bato, hero na tuloy ako kay Bato at saka kay Bato, napailan na at pinuntahan kagad yung unang witness dito. Nakabuti nga yan eh. Dahil inimbestiga na kagad yun eh. At ang sabi ko nga, sa totoo lang, lahat yan may testigo, dali na natin sa pulis, file na ng pulis. Pag hindi ginawa ng pulis yung kanilang trabaho, saka natin imbestigahin ng pulis kung talagang rank ang negligence nila, ang dereliction of duty, o ang pagsunod, may malfeasance o misfeasance or non-feasance. Sa akin in spite of maraming requests, and I don't want to be petty, pati nga ho expenses ng human rights, isa-charge sa committee. Okay lang ho sa akin yun, walang problema. Pero, wag naman, kung ayaw nyong respetuhin ang nag-iimbestiga, wag na kayong pumunta rito. Dahil hindi naman nyo kami re-respetuhin, hindi nyo re-respetuhin ang Senado, wag na, mag-aaway lang kami ni Chairman Gaston, na kaibigan ko, taga UP, at Kahit na ibang partido niya, hindi ko sinasama yon, pero magkaibigan kami. Because ako rin, may partido rin ako, pero wala ako sinasabing bias siya. Ang sinasabi ko lang, do not come here if you do not want to respect the committee, if you do not want to respect the institution of the Senate. But if I were to be asked, as chairman, and I've been chairman of SBMA, I've been chairman of other positions as secretary, there is always me who will speak. And when I'm going to attack somebody, I will do it myself. I will not have any member na magkakagulo. You will recall, ang COMELEC nung araw, nagsasalita isang commissioner, and there was a spectacle na nag-aaway yung commission. Ang hinahingi ko lang, if any, at kung hindi ako mapipigbigyan, okay lang, sabihin ni Chairman Gaston, he does not speak for us. We dissociate ourselves completely from him. At huwag naman yung spokesman na hindi ko man lang kilala kung sino yon, respetuhin niya naman ang Senado. So, now, we talked about this in the recess, so I will cut to the chase. You're going to raise a question that kailangan may 3-day rule?
Yes, sir.
No. That's why I raised it before the committee, before the whole session. I said, because of this, I am constrained to go on with the hearing, call the police, and continue it and finish it without the Commission on Human Rights, because if they don't want to respect us, we will not bring them over. Because anyway, they have witnesses. Submit your witnesses, we will give it to the police, they will investigate. I don't have to investigate. We are not policemen here. We are here to create in aid of legislation. Tapos na po yun. Nasa isip ko na ho, susulat ho, by Monday, we will come out with a report. Linis na lang ho itong gagawin namin para matapos na yung mga tatanungin namin sa mga pulis. Kung meron tayong nakitang ginawa ng kapulisan na lapastangan sa karapatang pantao, i-file po natin ang kaso sa pulis. I-file lang human rights. Hindi po pwede kami mag-file. I can file on my own separate and individual capacity, but the Committee on Justice can only make a report, and it is up to the Senate President to refer it to the Ombudsman, to the Police Commission, or to whatever, na mag-file sila. In the meantime, I do not intend to waste any more time on the issue. I don't want to be arrogant. If you disagree, take it to the floor of the Senate again, which should have been done yesterday. We are going to hear, and who knows, I am against, just to show you, I am against the death penalty. My father was assassinated. A niece of mine was badly murdered by a houseboy. Nahuli ng mga pulis, mayroon ko noon. Sabi, patayin na namin, huwag yung papatayin. Ikulong natin. Ngayon may bill dito na kinausap ako ng ilang mga senador. Ano ba ang solusyon dyan? Payagan nyo na ang death penalty sa mga drugs. Para siguro, imbis na nagkakapatayan sa drugs, i-file na lang ang kaso. Gusto ko yun. Pero I will not support the death penalty. Because sa akin, mas mahusay, ikulong, wag lang preso kabalyero. Yun lang ang gusto ko sabihin dito para malinaw na ho. And I will give you a minute to conclude para matapos na po. That is what I'd like to state here. In front of Chairman Gaston who's there, I would like nothing better for him to come here. But for so long as Chairman Gaston and the Commission does not dissociate himself from this rogue individual, whom I don't even know, the Senate doesn't even know, who dares accuse the Senate of all of cowardice. I'm a senator. You know, sabihin niya sa harap ko yan, hindi naman ako matapang na tao, pero huwag niya sasabihin sa harap ko. Alam ko naman, magaling magtago yung mga cowards eh. The real cowards are those who die 1,000 deaths because they cannot confront. So, they want to confront the newspaper, take it to the newspapers. It sells the press. I'm not going to reply to it because I will not even give it the dignity. Kaya lang lumabas ito because ito nangyari. It is a failure on the part of the Commission on Human Rights. I'm being judgmental. That is my personal opinion. That if I was chairman of the Human Rights Commission, isang tao ko, isang commissioner ko nagsalita, partner naman, hindi naman dapat siya sinabi mo. I would have to dissociate myself from that statement. And any other commissioner here can dissociate himself if they wish to. But please do not write me a letter saying we hope and pray that the Senate will ferret out justice. That is what we are here for. To ferret out the truth and to go to justice. That is what I accepted this commission for. I am overloaded and I like it. I'm used to work. 13 hours. That has never been done here on committee hearing. I had to, all the others had to suffer for it. My staff has to suffer. The staff of the senators had to suffer. 6 hours before. So dapat ho, respetuhin niyo. Hindi kami nagbibiroan dito. Gusto namin matapos ito para maka-agwanta po tayo. And if I may say, lahat kami ayaw namin ng patayan. Walang Pilipinong gustong patayan. And the surveys of the president even show that. Popular ang presidente, pero ayaw namin yung patayan. You all know that. Hindi ho ako sumusunod sa uso. Kanya-kanyang paninindigan. Yun lang ho.
May I continue, Mr. Chair?
Yes, you may. You have a minute.
Thank you. I do not wish to make any counter manifestation or counter statement in reference to what happened during that proceedings on which led to the outbursts. So may I just go back to the 2 points that I was mentioning. First, in relation to the suspension of hearing out the CHR witnesses on account of these unfortunate comments and statements from one of the commissioners. I am constrained, with due respect, Mr. Chair, to suggest or even to move that we allow the chair of the Commission on Human Rights to speak, say something, because certain statements are also being attributed to him. My statements and the statements of the Honorable Chair. So I think it is but just fair, just and right that we give the chair of the Commission on Human Rights to make a statement, to explain the side of the Commission on Human Rights. Because the CHR witnesses have been prepared, have been ready, have been waiting since day one of this ongoing Senate inquiry. From the first hearing where I presided, they were there. And some of them come from the province, and they've been waiting to be presented before this body. Yes, this issue about that unfortunate statements attributed to one commissioner has created this situation where both institutions seem to be now at loggerheads. Institutional integrity, institutional It's institutional integrity, because while I was talking to the chair, he's also pointing, he's also saying that this also involves the CHR as an institution. If the CHR will simply issue an apology for something that he has not done or stated as an institution. There are other remedies, Mr. Chair. If we want to go after the so-called rogue commissioner because of such expressions of his opinion, such expressions of his sentiments also with respect to the goings-on in the ongoing, in the Senate inquiry, there are other legal remedies, like first, requiring him to show cause. Why?
I'm sorry,
he should not
your minute has expired.
He should not be cited in contempt. It's also my prerogative, Mr. Chair.
The lady's minute has expired. The committee has the prerogative to continue on with the hearings. I'm sorry.
I have a motion, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead and file the motion. State the motion.
Can we tackle this? Because it's a motion.
State your motion. Do not do so.
My motion is for the committee to allow or give opportunity for the CHR chairperson, Gascon, to explain the position of the Commission on Human Rights on this issue about the statements being attributed to one commissioner. And secondly, Your Honor, I have not gone yet to the second point with respect to the issue of whether or not it is proper for us to tackle the death penalty bill in the absence of compliance with the 3-day notice rule. Yes, this was mentioned yesterday by the good chair in the course of the proceedings yesterday at the Senate by way of his comment or reaction to the privileged speech of a member. But let's take note, please. Let's remember that the matter of the EJ case is before a committee or two committees, the Committee on Justice and Human Rights and the Committee on Public Order and Illegal Drugs. The matter is not before the plenary. And there was no proper, reasonable opportunity also to go over and study the death penalty bills. I, for one, just like the good chair, is against the death penalty. I want to participate thoroughly in the discussions and the deliberations, and therefore I would want reasonable opportunity also to tackle that bill. Let us invite also appropriate resource persons in tackling a very important piece of legislation, the death penalty bill. We cannot just infuse it in the ongoing inquiry into the extrajudicial killings, because that is the very subject matter of this inquiry. So I raise a point of order, and I would want that also decided on by the committee.
I will not be dissuaded from that.
So I have two motions, Mr. Chair.
You
Thank
can
you very
only
much.
have one motion at a time, and you're out of order. Let me just say this. Yesterday you apologized to me, and I did not even bring it up. Now you're going against the issue, and you're going against the grain. Now let me just finish. You cannot control this the way you controlled it last time. I don't want to fight with you. I respect you, but let me just point out, I am not going to veer from the purpose of this investigation. The whole hearings have been, so convoluted by all kinds of detours. The hearing started with an investigation on extrajudicial killing, and then all of a sudden, from out of the blue, an individual named Matabato was brought in, no affidavits, and the hearing was conducted. That resulted in a fiasco where, unprecedentedly, the chairman was removed for lack of objectivity. And yet, you cannot blame this representation, because I went over backwards again. Without postponing the hearing, we went on as scheduled. We continued with Mr. Matabato even if it was going to derail. There were inconsistencies. And we're not judging. We can prove that. I have all the charts to show that. But we continued on with that. It was a wild goose chase that at the last minute, he disappeared. After 13 hours, when the moment of truth was going to go there for the confrontation with the people he was accusing, he left, only to discover that he had pending warrant of arrest. And now he's incarcerated in jail. And he should be brought to justice. It's not far from, fried chicken. I'm not involved with fried chicken here. It's not a question of pride. I don't care if you apologize or not. I thank you for it. I think that's very noble, but that's okay. Let's finish. I did not even go there. Even before your apology, I said I'm not going to go and bring the Senate to another distraction. People are saying we should concentrate on traffic, we should concentrate on peace and order, we should concentrate on other things. Here comes another distraction. We cannot be forever distracted. He is my friend until now. He is here. I did not say anything against him. Would you like me to read his statement, his text? I will not present him here, but with your permission, Chairman Gaston, I will read it because it speaks about you as a gentleman, but unfortunately it didn't happen. And I will quote. Alam niyo, ito nag-text sa akin si Chairman Gaston, baka maging senador yan balang araw. Ano sabi po niya? Binasa ko po yung Senado kahapon. Kaya sabi ko, hindi na kailangan eh. Good evening po, Senator Gordon. I am currently in Amsterdam and heard about the news report that one of our commissioners criticized you. This is not the position of the commission and bank. And sabi niya, and I apologize for whatever aggravation this may have caused you and the honorable members of the Senate Justice and Human Rights Committee. I've spoken to the other commissioners and we hope to make it right. We hope to make it right. May I please call you? Thanks and God bless. And I replied to him and we talked. Sabi niya, kakusapin niya yung ibang commissioners. Ang lumabas so, ito. Did I bring this out? I did not. I did not. Senator Zubiri saw a newspaper report that we were being slammed. That, the CHR was slamming the committee. So he stood up. And when he stood up, I had to stand up already. Now, sa akin, wala ho yan. The personal apology of Chairman Gascon is taken into consideration. I respect him as a gentleman. He doesn't have to apologize to me. The least this guy could do is apologize for himself. But the point here is when the commission is dragged, when the headline, what is the newspaper? It's not here. When the newspaper, which I brought in a while ago, came in and says, big headline, CHR, talagang magkakaroon talaga ng issue dyan, which I did not raise. Tama na sa akin yan. Sabi na ni Chairman Gaston, pero lumabas na nga yan, pero lumabas na nga, ano ba ang gagawin? Papapuntahin niyo pa si Chairman Gaston and we will be diverted? I think that I don't have to do that. I think, eto binasa ko na, that's good enough for me.
Mr. Chair, I'm withdrawing momentarily my second motion while we take up my first motion. I'm reiterating.
The chair is confused. Which motion are you talking
my
about?
First
you cannot
motion,
have two motions.
My first motion, Mr. Chair, is to allow the chair of the Commission on Human Rights to speak and to explain the side of the Commission on Human Rights on this issue at hand. Thank you. That is a pending motion. It has to be resolved first. Thank you.
There doesn't seem to be any member of the committee here. Are we going to vote each other here? Technicalities must always give way to substantial justice. Siguro dapat tapusin na natin
I move
dito.
to suspend.
Alam nyo,
I move
I
to
don't
suspend,
understand
Mr. Chair.
it. I really do not understand. When you make something, you accuse the president, sasabihin gano'n, i-withdraw. I-accuse him. Hindi po,
Let's not
sorry kayo.
go to that,
Tapos,
Mr.
pupunta
Chair.
kayo dito,
Let's
may gagawin
not
kayo,
go
and
to
you will
that.
sorry. You will say sorry. And now,
There
you
is
want
a
to bring this
particular
back
matter
again.
at hand, so
Excuse me, what are you trying to tell me?
hindi po appropriate na kung ano-ano naman po ang hinahalo niyo na issue.
Anong hinahalo? Ikaw ang naghahalo. And I am not going to, hindi kita papatulan. Sige, there's a motion. Let's vote. We have a quorum. 1 senator, 2 senators are here. Let's vote. There's a motion that says we should bring Chairman Gaston here. Senador na palagi, 3 beses na. Baka mag-senador ka na. All right? As many as are in favor of bringing Chairman Gaston, pag-apat na, to testify here. As many as are against? Walang boto. What do we do now?
Then I raise the second motion. We defer at the moment.
The motion is overruled because there is no vote. Okay?
I will raise it again at the proper time.
You can raise anything at the proper time.
May I raise the second motion, or reiterate my second motion on the propriety of taking up the death penalty bill without compliance with the 3-day notice rule before this committee. I move that we defer the taking up of the death penalty bill until such time that there is compliance with the 3-day notice rule to afford the other members of the committee sufficient notice, as well as notice to resource persons.
Is there a second? There appears to be no second motion, so the motion is overruled. Let's proceed. You may bring it up to the floor next time. It's better to bring it to the floor where everybody is here, because I brought it to the floor last time and you were there. You did not say anything. We shall now do it. You know, I'm sorry. I don't really cherish these discussions that are. Senator Pacquiao, are you ready to make your presentation on the death
Just for
penalty?
the record, Your Honor, Mr. Chair, just for the record,
You are speaking on the record all the time. We have not turned off the microphone.
the plenary proceedings yesterday was not the proper forum or venue.
I stand corrected.
to raise
You are
the
all
matter.
obviously, you all have the answers, and I bow to your knowledge. It is
The
brilliant.
proper forum is
It is
before
brilliant.
the committees themselves, not the plenary, because the matter of the EJ case is, and the other, and even the death penalty
Noted.
bill
The chair will now proceed.
has been
Go ahead.
referred
Go ahead.
already
Senator Pacquiao is
to the
recognized.
committee.
You are not recognized anymore.